Hey friends, welcome to day 10. We are here to strengthen, no, not strengthen. We're stretching and lengthening. We're going to be working primarily on hips and hamstrings, which, like, I don't know about you, but I'm here for it. My hips and hamstrings are always brutal. But I need to remind you, flexibility is not the goal here. This 28-day challenge really is about just showing up for ourselves. And for all of you Maritimers out there, like, we are storm stayed for like 4 or 5 days, guys. So is it spring yet? That's why I'm down here in the basement with like fake light, just trying to be happy. Any other seasonal affective disorders out there? No, good for you for showing up, doing something for yourself. Setting this goal for myself has been huge. And you know what? We are in double digits today, guys. So whether you're here doing a one-off yoga practice, I'm super happy to see you guys here. Michaela, Lindsay, hey guys. So like Adrian would say, slip into something comfy and meet me on the mat. But no, we're here for mobility, ease, feeling good in our bodies. I know that's easier said than done most days, but truly showing up for yourself is like step one for that, I think. So I want to remind you, no forcing. We are not judging ourselves. There's no space for that on our mats. Not with Batty Bandas. And just be in the moment. Notice what comes up. Notice what shifts. Notice how you're feeling right now so that you can kind of compare at the end of the practice. How do your legs feel afterwards also? And you'll notice we're not doing anything crazy at all. So easy seated pose. I still have my slippers on. I've got my sweater on. I'm down in my, it's a pretty cold basement, but. So close your eyes. Perhaps you just lower your gaze. Lengthen your spine. Keep your shoulders down out of your ears. And take 5 deep cleansing breaths because we are on day 10. 10. Through the nose and slowing down your exhales. I invite you to set an intention, whether that be your own, or perhaps you tell yourself for this practice, I allow my body to open with ease and patience. So most of us are carrying a lot of stress and tension around. I invite you to roll out your mat. And if you don't have a mat, you don't need one. A towel. Stop making excuses and just lay down and do the video. So supine knee hugs, again, very simple. I think a lot of us have seen these before. Yes, I've got my slippers on. You can do this in your pajamas. Cleansing breaths. It doesn't matter what knee you keep in first, but we're just holding on to one as we lower the other to the mat. Perhaps you put a pillow or a block or something underneath the knee that's down on the mat for extra support. And we're just here for 5 breaths. Notice where you're holding tension, and even though you are holding your knee in, you don't need to be carrying the same tension that we always do. Inhale, both knees in. On the next exhale, lower the opposite foot down to the mat. Returning to your breath, extending your exhales. And again, unclench. Relax the muscles in your face. Good. Both knees in. So you're going to keep your hands on your knees, and we're just going to do these little hip rotations. And it actually feels, I think my arms are too short, but let me know how that feels for you. Perhaps you alternate. God, my left hip. How's yours? And notice, where are you carrying tension? All right. We're going to move now into Happy Baby. So if you're not familiar, we're just going to be grabbing onto the outsides of our feet. If this is out of reach for you today, literally, you can also grab onto the backs of your thighs or the backs of your shins. I was doing this forever with my hands on the inside, and that's not half bad either. So there truly is no right and wrong, but with Happy Baby, it's a nice hip opener. You can give yourself a little rock, kind of like a little back massage. And if your hips are extra tight, you can do a little windshield washer before we come up. Can you see my legs on this black ground? It's really just like my upper body. Let me know. See, it takes nothing, guys. I already feel better, and I hope you do too. All right, let's do this. So, don't get up the way that I just did. Roll over onto your side and slowly sit up onto the mat. Okay. I have to take my slippers off, begrudgingly. And you know what? It's a personal preference, but I really do. It is encouraged that you are barefoot on your mat. It just helps you grip a little bit better. And like once you do it, you really can't go back. So you can see me here. So we're going to do a little back and forth here between tabletop. How did I get to be on this angle? I'm like away from you guys. Okay. Tabletop. Tucking the toes as we inhale, pushing up into downward facing dog. So there are the hamstrings. If you were wondering when they were going to come in, there they are. So you can have a big bend in your knees. You can have a moderate bend, as long as you're not hyperextending your knees. I encourage you to push your heels towards the mat. Rotating the inner sides of your elbows upward. Being mindful not to have too much tension in your neck. And then we're going to come back down to all fours. We're going to do 2 more of those. Okay, coming back up into your downward dog. This time, perhaps you pedal it out or take your dog for a walk. Keeping the breath steady. Coming back down. We've got 1 more of those. Tucking the toes, inhaling. On the exhale, push back. And if you want to give an extra push in through your hands this time, rotating the elbows back and shoulders. Awesome. Come on down. meet me back on your seat. Hey, Lisa. Harry. Oh, it's great to have everybody here. Let me know down below if you guys are joining along for the practice. Okay, so bring the soles of your feet together. We're going to be doing butterfly pose. This is Baddha Konasana in Sanskrit. And if you have a block or a pillow or anything around you that you could use as a prop, should you need that. Otherwise, I invite you to walk your hands out a little bit, and we're going to do 5 nice deep breaths here in butterfly pose. And this is a beautiful hip stretch. It does not matter where you are. Again, we're not pushing, we're not judging. How are you expect to be flexible if you don't stretch? How are you expected to feel good in your body if you don't pour any time or love into it? Nice big deep breaths, because how many of those have you taken today? Awesome. Okay, coming up onto your knees, we're going to move into a half split. No fear. It's not as scary as it sounds, I promise. So I encourage you, again, if you do have a block, use it. If you don't, friends, I get these at Dollarama. I say every day I love my blocks. And there's no shame in it. So from your knees, it doesn't matter what foot you're starting with, but you're putting one foot forward. And I promise this is it. Look at you, you're doing a half split. Ta-da! You use your block and bring it forward. Again, if you don't have a block, coming down to the mat, and you're simply hinging at the waist. You're not arching or doing any freaky gargoyle shit. You are hinging, keeping your spine nice and lengthened, as if there is light beaming out the top of your head. And breathing into it. You're sending your breath into those hamstrings. I have 2 blocks here, which is even better than 1. So 1 on each side. I'm telling you, props are your friend. If you can let go of your ego and realize that even the best, most experienced, most flexible, most strong, whatever yogis, like, people use blocks and props all the time. Maybe one day you need them and another day you don't. If you can, keep your chin lifted. I was looking down at myself, probably not the best practice. So ready to switch sides, coming back to high knees. This time you're going to put your opposite knee out in front of you. And if you're quite comfortable up here, I mean, comfortable is relative, but you know what I mean? If you can balance, if you're holding on to something, if that's enough stretch, because I can feel it up here as well. I'm going to come down to my blocks. Spine is lengthened, shoulders are down out of the ears. Hips are square. Oh, that's a good one. Give yourself a little ankle rotation. Awesome. All right, coming back down onto our backs. Figure 4. So this one is going straight into our hips. Cross your opposite knee, or your opposite ankle over your opposite knee. And we're threading our hands down through. Here for 5 deep breaths. We're not forcing. Simply here being, listening to a pretty groovy playlist. Non-copyright. Thank you very much. Suck it, YouTube. I'm learning, friends. I'm learning. So copyrights basically cut out like all of the good music. I don't really know. If anyone knows anything about online stuff, let me know. Did I tell you to switch sides? I hope so. If not, switch sides. I'm sorry. I did it a long time ago. Get with the program. Okay. Our final, before going into our Shavasana. Again, this is an ass kicker for the hamstrings. I encourage you to find yourself a strap. If you don't have a strap, then a belt is awesome. I used a belt. Honestly, I used a belt off my bathrobe for a really long time. And I've moved up in the world. If you don't have a strap, you can give yourself a bend in the knee and just hold on to the backs of this thigh and do whatever you need to do with this bottom leg. But the aim here is to feel the stretch in the lifted hamstring. You might even get a bonus stretch in the bottom hip if you're like me. A little BOGO, if you will. And when I'm in stretches like this, friends, I like to play with flexing, pointing my foot. Our poor ankles do not get enough credit. Even the cankles need some love. Okay, I'm actually going to use my strap here. It's a toughie. It's a toughie, but make sure you're not hyperextending. It's okay to be shaky. I am like, okay, switching sides. Straps are awesome. You notice my bottom foot right now, my knee is bent. And you notice the difference between my left and my right? That is okay. I mean, it's not great, but it's normal. If you want an extra challenge, you can extend that bottom foot, bottom leg. Don't forget to breathe. All right, my friends. When you're ready, come out of that second side. You just tuck up into a nice tight ball. Big inhale, and on the exhale, lower yourself down onto your mat for final Shavasana. Let yourself feel heavy on your mat, palms facing toward the sky. And give yourself props for that hip and hamstring stretch. We stretched, we lengthened. So while you're here lying in Shavasana, Remember that it is too early to be thinking about anything beyond this practice. You don't need to be anywhere or doing anything in this moment. So if that's not motivation enough to do yoga, I don't know what is. So as we come to an end of this practice, I invite you to let go of any need to push or force. Your body is listening, it's responding, it's always recalibrating, it's opening on its own time. Breathe in ease, breathe out tension, and trust that every small thing that we do for ourselves is enough. They just have to be consistent. You are worth it. We need to fill our own cups. Queens, I know, you know, we all know this, but we don't do it. So take your time coming back, and when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. And lower your head in a tiny bow, tiny little baby bow, and give me a little namaste. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Thank you for being here.